Hey, welcome back to the channel, Food and Stuff. I hope everybody's doing well today. As you can see by my picture, I'll be talking about the show Empire. I am probably the last person to start watching this show. It came out in 2018, I believe. I don't remember. And it had 6 seasons before 2018. And I was looking for something to watch yesterday, and I said to myself, let me go and watch this show. So obviously, I watched the entire season one yesterday. And yes, it's a show for entertainment, but there were some very important social issues that came out that happens a lot in the Black community. Number one, mental illness and the awareness of mental illness. Asking for help when we're mentally ill was something that came out. And I remember Lucius had 3 sons, and the biggest one, Andre, and they call him Dre for short, he was diagnosed as being bipolar when he was doing his first year in college, and the father refused to accept that his son was bipolar. Now, if somebody has a mental illness and the family refuses to accept that that their son or their daughter is mentally ill, there's nothing much in terms of support that they can give because they are not accepting. You know, they say like the first step in healing is acceptance or confession. Acceptance, I don't remember. But if you're not going to accept, then you can't help. The second social issue that I saw, because that show, yes, it's for entertainment, it has a lot of things that rings through true in the Black community, was the obvious dysfunction that happens when a parent is absent from the home because the mother went to jail when the boys were pretty small, and they grew up feeling the effect of not having a mother present in their home. And their father was around, but he was not present. Now, one of the episode I was watching, Lucius was telling, I think it's his last son, that he can't teach him or he can't tell him to love his mother, but he can ensure that he respects her. And that leads to this point where when you have two parents in a home, both parents bring something different to the table. Like, fathers to me sometimes they tend to be more disciplinarians, and this is when parents are present. It's not just being in the home and saying, oh, you have a father figure, but it is men who are present and show up in the lives of their children. And the mother one time she said to him that he doesn't listen to the children. So the mother kind of brings that different aspect where she listens and she caters to the needs of her kids. So those are two of the things that I saw in Empire. Now, another thing that I saw when it comes to having parents who are there but they're not really there, you have children who grow up and they feel as if it was something that they did. It was as if it's their fault why the parent was not there. When truth and in fact, it's not the children's fault. The parents made a decision, and because of the actions of Cookie Lion, she ended up in jail, and then the father had to become like father, mother, breadwinner, and hustler, and trying to get this music career off the ground. And yeah, so he was not really playing a fatherly role. And to be honest, for me, he is a very selfish and a self-serving man. Another thing that I saw that spoke to me was that sometimes when the issue that I wanted to talk about is the issue of acceptance, of accepting people for who they are and for how they choose to live. Now, when God created us, He gave us the freedom of choice. Those of us who are Christians, we believe that. And a lot of people make lifestyle choices that a lot of people don't agree with. However, out of respect, you just allow them to live how they choose. And his second son from small was they showed clips where he was dressed in heels and he had like a something around his head like a bonnet. And these are things that are associated with articles of clothing that women would wear. and he never accepted his son, and he used his wealth as a sort of a binder to keep his son intact and not to expose or come out with his sexuality. And I always say that as parents, we are not necessarily going to always agree with the choices of our children, but the choices that the children make sometimes could put a strain on the relationship, but it should not get to the point where the child or the children cannot live in live in their truth. And we know that homosexuality is something that is, I don't know if it's on the rise. I wouldn't say that, but I think with the presence of social media and everybody having access to a phone and to the internet, we are seeing it more in our faces. It's not to say that it wasn't there before, but because everybody has a phone and there's TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and all these social media platforms, we are seeing it more in our faces. And it was kind of really sad when he he got his son married to a woman, thinking that that would change the boy from being gay. As if he's gay, he's gay. Nothing you could do could change it. Only Jesus and him wanting to change could change that. And I was saying to myself, um, when people are not allowed to be themselves, we stifle them, and we sometimes plant seeds of sadness, which could eventually lead to depression. And I was meant to say this. This one of the questions I ask people, like, okay, like if we start dating or we have a child and that child is like gay, what would you do? And 99, not even 95, 99% of the time, these men responses always going to be that they're going to get in the prettiest girl they could find and let the girl come around so that he could realize that he's not attracted to men and he's attracted to women. And for me, that is not respecting people's personal choice. And I think that's all I have to say. Thank you for listening. Bye.